for it roll because he is dumb. Failing to go for it roll, at least he doesn't hurt himself. Let's give him that compliment. On his way down the field, trying to get the ball away from the dwarves, he fell down, which was embarrassing, but he didn't hurt himself. There's one KO'd with the blitzer and the blocker on the skink. That's a 6-4 to break the armor and a 6-2 to KO the player. 2 more 6s in 2 more rolls. I, at this point, have got to be feeling like the gods are against me because 6s are raining down like the dew for the dwarf team. Although, to my advantage, that skink's about to get it as well. Defender down. I'm not sure. Nope, stunned. I wasn't sure whether or not he stayed in the game. As you will see, this pattern continues. I lose a lot of players this game. So anyhow, ball's on the sideline. Here comes the blocker. The downside for the dwarves is that they're slow. That move of the skink picking up the ball and moving it, what I think was 20 yards further to the midfield point, really is a setback for the dwarves, who are going to need every bit of the 2 turns they have left or a super lucky long pass to try to score by the end of this half. And so it was unfortunate that he failed that dodge roll and that the skink was able to get it back to midfield, even though he embarrassed himself by falling down and dropping the ball on a go-for-it roll of 2. The 2 necessary for the go-for-it, and I rolled a 1 because I am spectacular. So dwarves making sure that the lizardmen don't get towards the ball. That skink has a chance to get a hold of the ball on the next turn until the blocker comes and picks it up. So that's going to ensure that the lizardmen do not get to run the ball any further down the field. And that was the pass that I was talking about in the same position. I might have tried the same thing. Because of how slow the dwarves are, that pass was a good plan. It ends up putting the ball right in the middle of his cage anyway. So I don't think he has a real opportunity to lose the ball. I'm going to spend most of my movement getting up off the ground. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6 players left on the pitch that are on the ground. And so the lizardmen start getting up, and well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know what I was doing with that skink. Maybe figuring if he wanted to come around the backside after he picked the ball up. I don't know. That seems silly here in retrospect. Kind of guaranteeing he stays out of the play. Skink downfield blocking the run. Another skink at midfield, I guess, trying to block the pass. And the skink gets up to go pick up the ball. I want to give a chance to pick up, and if I fail the pickup roll, so what? Skink fails the dodge roll. It was a dodge roll of 4. I rolled a 2, even with a +1 and stunty. That did not work. So, failed the dodge roll. That's my turnover. Here come the dwarves. Forming a box around the ball. I think the blitzer is the one who attempts to pick it up. Maybe it's the runner. We'll see. In this situation, it should probably be one of these that's got the best chance to pick it up. Highest agility. Yeah, the blitzer. Yeah, any of the 2 blitzers. And then running the ball down here to the runner. And maybe trying to get the runner down the sideline. That's the only chance they have to try to score in the 2 turns they had left. Blitzer fails the pickup roll. One thing goes in my favor. That's rolling a 1 when he needed a 4. So I'll take it, but I don't do a whole lot in response when you see the skink fails the dodge roll for the end of the half. Beautiful, beautiful drunken dwarf cheerleader there. I think it's a woman with a beard. There is the dead and wounded, and as you can tell, my roll did not wake up my skink. So I'm going to be short. I have 2 subs, both of which are skinks. And his KO roll does wake up his dwarf in a continual, embarrassing series of rolls. The Death Roller is off the field. That is the secret weapon feature I was talking about earlier. Since the dwarf is a secret weapon, he can only be used for 1 possession. That was the end of the half, thus the end of the possession because no one scored. So the Steamroller is off the field. Thank God. But as you can see, with no subs, the skinks are the lizardmen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on the field. And that's with every sub I got because I got so many over here. 1 KO'd and 4 in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 4 in the box. That's 5 total on the sideline plus 6. That's 11. I might have a 12th man. Yes, I did have a 12th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 5 is 13, I guess I had on my roster. So it's going to be 8 on 11 for the entirety of the second half. But he's kicking to me because I chose to kick at the start of the game. And with 0-0, even though I'm only 8 players on the field, I'm counting my lucky stars. So we'll speed through some of this defense. In retrospect, I probably should have spread the skinks out on the line. There was no way I'm putting the Saurus on the line because he's the only decent blocker I got, decent blitzer I got. And so I need him in the backfield defending what I hope will be a successful ball carrier. Blitz, again, just lucky rolls raining down like the dew on the dwarves. Blitz gives him the opportunity to take an extra turn. If there's not a player in a tackle zone, so these 5 he's got up front cannot move, but any other player that's not in a tackle zone gets to take a free turn as part of Blitz. So he kicks the ball to me, but then gets the option to take the free turn. And so I'm going to speed it up because, as you can see, naturally, I have a gap in my line because I'm down players. So he very smartly runs dwarven defenders into my backfield, trying to choke the ball off before I even get an opportunity to catch it. The bouncing ball bounces. I failed the catch. It did get kicked to me, but I failed the catch roll. That's not a turnover, but it means I have to pick up the ball through the course of the turn. Spin my blitz first off. Saurus blitzes down that blitzer. Pretty clear I'm coming to the right. That hole was left open. He overcommitted a little bit there, probably not thinking about how fast the lizardmen can be. So the pickup then became a handoff, which then became this run and a successful pass. And I went ahead and tried the 2 go-for-it rolls because a quick score would be helpful here. Made the 2 go-for-it rolls. And then made the subsequent dodge rolls that were necessary. 1 rolling a 6, and then I rolled a 3 there. 4 is what's necessary for the dodge roll. So 2 6s and a 4. I get super lucky when it super doesn't matter to get a little bit of blockage there to prevent him just running my skink down right off. The real threat, I marked the runner here. The real threat is from that runner here in the backfield. I can't click on him in the replay to show the distance, but the distance is that if he makes a go-for-it roll, he can reach the skink. This is the one real threat for the skink on the sideline. He decides to mark my skink with his blockers, which is smart, and trying to get as many dwarves into the play. See, there's a double mark on that skink. Trying to get as many dwarves into the play as possible because it's going to be a difficult thing for the dwarves to run down the skink. He got way out ahead. So here's where it gets interesting. That was a dodge roll. He needed to get the dodge roll. He rolled a 5 plus 1, gives him a 6 on a 4, and then made both go-for-it rolls to blitz the skink, where he then successfully on a 2-die block, got a defender down, knocking the ball out of the skink's hands out of bounds. And so I go from a 20-yard run to score. The ball gets tossed back in, and the way that the roll happens, when the ball comes back in bounds, puts the ball right here at center, at midfield, directly in front of his blocker on my possession. So I've received the ball, got within 20 yards of the touchdown, and now I've lost the ball at midfield with no lizard men within 20 yards of the ball, which was a depressing moment for me. And as naturally he would, the dwarves who were at midfield, who were trying to chase that skink down, are now piling on the ball. The runner makes a successful pickup roll, rolled a 4. Not incredibly impressive, but all that was necessary. So there's some thinking going on now, and that was a Bach of the Moon actually KO'd the player back here in the backfield, which is good. That was a potential pass target to help him be well within scoring. That I will count as a big bonus in my favor. Blitzing that guy down and getting a KO, eliminating him as a pass target, was much to my advantage. And you'll see the skinks are establishing a perimeter and just tried the good old random skink from the rear. That was my blitz. And it was a 3-die, a negative 3-die block, which means the skink rolls 3 dice and then my opponent gets to pick which dice. This was a big roll because with 3 dice that I could roll for him to decide which one to use to apply on his runner from my skink, I rolled defender stumbles, defender down, which is bad, and worse news for his player. And so they roll the highlight reel because it actually, that incredible roll got even more incredible. This was probably my best roll of the game. Because with that, I rolled a 5-4 to reach the 9 necessary to break that runner's armor. And when I broke that runner's armor, I rolled boxcars, which when I then rolled on the casualty table, the boxcars wasn't dead, which is what he got when he rolled boxcars. It was a fractured leg, which will cost that runner the next game. Skink comes up and grabs the ball, tries to make